echoes of exponential growth, navigating the interplay of aspiration and constraint.
The saga of exponential growth, decay, and the potential collapse of civilizations is a narrative as timeless as human history itself. Recently, I journeyed to New York City, where I had the pleasure of attending a performance of Rodgers and Hammerstein's beloved musical Carousel. Set against the backdrop of a quaint fishing town in New England, this classic tale encapsulates some timeless themes. During the performance, the soprano Renee Fleming graced the stage in the role of Nettie. The musical offered a poignant reflection on the contrasting fortunes of its characters. This was particularly evident in the aspirations of the fisherman Enoch. In a wonderful song brimming with optimism, Enoch mused on the prospect of exponential growth. He envisioned a future where his fleet of boats multiplied with each successive voyage. While quaintly expressed, Enoch's dreams touched upon a fundamental truth underlying exponential growth, one that extends well beyond the realm of Broadway musicals and into the annals of economics and thermodynamics. Indeed, the allure of exponential expansion often obscures the inherent constraints imposed by the natural world. As a system expands, it inevitably consumes the very resources that fueled its growth in the first place. And so there's a complex interplay of dynamics characterized by growth, diminishing returns, discovery, depletion, and ultimately decay and collapse. At its core, exponential growth hinges upon a system's ability to expand its interface with available resources. This principle is clearly exemplified by Enoch's burgeoning fleet as it expanded into the plentiful fish stocks off the coast of New England. Yet, of course, as with the fish, any expansion is not without its limits. As the fleet grows, so does its competition for finite resources. And ultimately, there are diminishing returns. Despite the initial allure of boundless growth, the reality of resource scarcity inevitably imposes a sobering reality. However, the aspect of collapse can actually be quite hard to predict. There is always the prospect of discovery that introduces an element of uncertainty into the equation. Whether it be an unforeseen bounty of cod in the New World or the advent of some new energy resource, discovery has the power to momentarily forestall the inevitability of decline. However, any temporary reprieve is not without its consequences. Ultimately, the bigger we get, inevitably the harder we fall, even as civilizations teeter on the brink of oblivion. And so we continually try to forestall this through the tantalizing prospect of discovery, one that will enable us to continue to grow into the future, to get ever larger. In the tapestry of human history, we can see echoes of these dynamics of exponential growth, discovery, and decline reverberate with striking clarity. For us, at this moment in time, two immutable forces loom large: resource depletion and environmental decay. Of course, we continue to discover new energy resources, but the balance with decay holds the key to our collective fate as we grapple with the spectre of finite resources and ecological degradation. History suggests we are enormously resilient in the face of adversity, but the spectre of exponential growth nonetheless presents an existential quandary. Can civilization reconcile its insatiable appetite for expansion with the finite confines of the natural world? Will the continued promise of discovery outpace the ravages of decay? Or are we fated to confront the limits of our own hubris? Like the ebb and flow of the tide, our fortunes rise and fall with time. Yet amidst this uncertainty, one truth remains immutable. Exponential growth must ultimately yield to the natural forces of depletion and decay.